Baby Mehran, 1945, born into a divided world. In 1945, a baby boy named Mehran Karimi Nasseri was born in Mast Soleiman, Iran, in the Anglo-Iranian Oil Company settlement. His father was an Iranian doctor, and his mother was reportedly a Scottish nurse. As a baby, Mehran lived a comfortable life, unaware that his future would be filled with struggles no one could predict. Curious kid, 1950s, growing up in Iran. As a little boy, Mehran was curious and intelligent. He loved learning and often asked questions about the world beyond Iran. Growing up in a relatively affluent household with 5 siblings, he had a comfortable childhood. He dreamed of traveling abroad and seeing the world, a dream that would later turn into a nightmare. The ambitious teen, 1960s, leaving home for education. As a teenager, Mehran was determined to study abroad. In the 1960s, he left Iran and moved to the United Kingdom to study Yugoslav studies at the University of Bradford. Like any young student, he had big dreams. He wanted to build a successful life for himself. However, during his time in the UK, Iran's political situation was changing rapidly. The monarchy under Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi was facing protests. Mehran became politically active, joining anti-Shah movements. Little did he know, this decision would cost him his citizenship, his home, and his freedom. The Political Young Man, 1977, the moment everything changed. In 1977, Mehran, now a young man in his early 30s, made a decision that changed his life forever. He returned to Iran, believing he could use his education to contribute to his country. But the moment he stepped back on Iranian soil, he was arrested. He was accused of opposing the monarchy and was expelled from Iran. Just like that, he was stripped of his Iranian citizenship, becoming a stateless man overnight. He had no home, no passport, and nowhere to go. The Lost Wanderer, 1977 to 1988, searching for a place to call home. For years, Mehran wandered across Europe, searching for a place to settle down. He applied for asylum in multiple countries. After years of struggle, he was granted refugee status in Belgium in 1981, allowing him to live in Europe legally. He believed he could move to the UK because of his mother's British heritage, so he set off on another journey, but fate had other plans. The Tragic Mistake, 1988, a briefcase that changed everything. In 1988, Mehran, now 43 years old, was traveling to the UK via Paris. At a Paris train station, he made one small mistake. His briefcase, containing all his legal documents, was stolen. Without his refugee papers, he was denied entry into the UK and sent back to France. French authorities tried to deport him, but no country would accept him without identification. He had nowhere to go and was left stranded at Charles de Gaulle Airport's Terminal 1. A short delay turned into 18 years of isolation. The Airport Man, 1988 to 2006, trapped for 18 years. For the next 18 years, Mehran lived in Terminal 1 of Charles de Gaulle Airport. He slept on a red plastic bench. He survived on food given by airport workers and travelers. He spent his days writing in his diary, reading newspapers, and watching people. Creating a new identity, Sir Alfred. After a clerical error in a British document referred to him as Sir Alfred, Mehran embraced the name and refused to be called anything else. He became a legend at the airport, known by staff, travelers, and journalists. Despite his struggles, he remained mentally strong and hopeful. The movie that changed everything, 1999 to 2004. In 1999, after 11 years in the airport, French authorities finally granted him the right to stay in France legally. But he refused to leave, saying the documents did not recognize him as Sir Alfred. His story gained global attention, inspiring articles, interviews, and even a Hollywood movie. In 2004, Steven Spielberg released The Terminal, starring Tom Hanks, loosely based on Mehran's life. This film made him famous, and he even earned royalties from it. Yet, he still did not leave the airport. A New Life? 2006 to 2022, struggling in the outside world. In 2006, after 18 years, Mehran fell seriously ill and was hospitalized. After recovery, he lived in a shelter and later a hotel, supported by royalties from his life story. But the world had changed. He had no job, no family, no experience outside the airport. He struggled to adapt to normal life. Though he was free, he felt lost in society. The final chapter, 2022, a return to the airport. By 2022, Mehran, now 77 years old, returned to Charles de Gaulle Airport. He spent his last days in Terminal 1, the place he had called home for nearly 2 decades. On 12 November 2022, he suffered a heart attack and passed away. He died in the very place that had trapped him for 18 years. Authorities found him with several thousand euros in cash, a reminder of how, despite his struggles, he had become a global icon. Legacy: the man who taught us resilience. Mehran Karimi Nasseri's life is a powerful reminder of bureaucratic absurdities, how a small mistake can cost a person their home. Human endurance, how someone can survive even in the harshest conditions. The search for identity, his struggle to be recognized as Sir Alfred until the end. Though he never fully reclaimed his life, he left behind a story that will be told for generations, a testament to the human spirit's ability to endure against all odds.